All right, Flaunters, let's talk about what to expect before and after your first pole session, whether it's at home using the Fit to Flaunt app or at a pole dancing studio. Now, I know for a fact what you're thinking before you take your first pole session is, am I really gonna be doing this? Can I really do it? It looks really hard. What am I thinking? Maybe I shouldn't do pole dancing. Maybe I should find another workout that won't be as hard. Let me just say, get rid of those self-limiting beliefs. You can do it. Anyone can learn to pole dance. You're not gonna go in there and your instructor's gonna have you flipping upside down as soon as you walk in. Everyone starts off with the same beginner spins and beginner drills to help you build strength and fluidity and body control. So don't worry, you're gonna do great. Now, after your first pole dancing session, I know what you're thinking. I know. You're like, it was definitely harder than I thought. Maybe pole dancing isn't for me. I like it, but it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. That's what makes it a workout. Stick with it. Don't go by the feelings you have after your first pole class. Anything that's great is worth fighting for, and pole dancing is seriously life-changing. I don't know any pole dancer who didn't feel that way after their first pole class. I think everyone felt discouraged after their first pole class because it was a reality check. But trust me, stick with it, and just like everyone else, you can do it and you're gonna be great at it. So now, you're doing your first pole class, your first pole session, and you're like, oh my gosh, my hands keep sweating. This is extremely normal. I even still use grip aids. Fit to Flaunt sells a pole dancing grip that dries your hands out and makes it super easy for you to maintain grip while doing the pole skills. Now, why do our hands sweat? Our hands can sweat from a medical condition, or sometimes it's really because we're really nervous and we're anxious and we're like, oh my God, I'm really gonna do this. I'm really gonna pole dance. The adrenaline is pumping. And yeah, unfortunately, it does result in your hands being sweaty. Now, for most people, that goes away by like the third and fourth session. Your hands stop being as sweaty. Now, will they sweat a little bit? Yes, of course, because we're working out. And that's when the grip aids become your best friend. Bruising is a very normal part of your pole journey. You may find that after your first pole dancing class, your legs are all bruised up and you're like, what? And that's because in the beginning, you'll notice that when you're doing your spins, your body may rock side to side. So you're hitting your shin or you're hitting your leg on the pole. And that's very normal. You'll notice that your movements become more fluid and you'll stop bruising as much. Now, you will bruise whenever you're learning a new skill. Even I do sometimes. And that's because your skin in that area, at least, isn't desensitized to the pole yet. So bruising is a very natural part of pole dancing. Don't be alarmed. You're in pole class, you're doing your session on the app, and your hands are hurting. And you're like, oh my gosh, why are my hands hurting? Now, if this happens to you, I want you to think WWSS. What would Shelly say? Well, Shelly would say your hands are hurting because you're new and you're nervous, so you're squeezing the pole super tight to do everything. I honestly call this the death grip. All beginners have it. So you're trying to do your spins, everything you're doing, you're squeezing super tight, and it's unnecessary. So what you want to think about doing is just loosening up that grip. Your spins will flow more fluidly and it'll stop your hands from hurting so much. So these are just a few things to keep in mind when you're first learning to pole dance. I hope this video is helpful, and if I think of anything else, I'll definitely make a part 2.